She texts the billionaire by mistake. Minutes later, he sent a helicopter and said, "Come now." Maya sat on the edge of her bed, staring at her phone through blurred eyes. Her fingers trembled as she typed out a message, pouring out the desperation she had been holding in for months. Her mother's health had been declining rapidly, the medical bills piling higher than she could manage with her modest salary as a waitress. That evening, after yet another call from the hospital reminding her of overdue payments, Maya broke down. She thought she was texting her friend, a small cry for help, or at least someone to listen. The words she typed were raw and unfiltered. "I can't take this anymore. Mom needs surgery, and I'm running out of time. If only some miracle could save us." She hit send, tossed the phone aside, and buried her face in her hands. Moments later, her phone buzzed. She didn't expect much. Maybe her friend would offer comforting words, though Maya knew she didn't have much to give either. But when she glanced at the screen, her heart nearly stopped. The reply was from an unfamiliar number. "Where are you? I'll send a helicopter. Come now." Confusion shot through her veins. Had she texted the wrong number? She quickly checked the message and gasped. The number she'd typed wasn't her friend's. She had accidentally messaged Ethan Grant, the reclusive billionaire known across the country for his investments, charities, and rumored aloofness. She'd read about him in magazines, seen his face on television, but never in her wildest dreams did she imagine accidentally spilling her pain into his inbox. She froze, unsure what to do. Another message buzzed in. "I'm serious. Don't be afraid. I can help. Just send me your location." Her instinct told her it was impossible. Why would a billionaire care about her? And yet, something in his tone, short, direct, but strangely warm, felt genuine. With shaky fingers, she sent her address, half convinced it was some elaborate prank. 15 minutes later, the unmistakable thrum of rotor blades filled the night air. Maya rushed outside and craned her neck. Hovering above her tiny apartment complex was a sleek black helicopter, its searchlight sweeping gently over the parking lot. A man in a crisp suit descended from it with the ease of someone used to this kind of spectacle. He approached her, extended his hand, and said simply, "Maya. Mr. Grant sent me. Let's go." She hesitated, staring at the surreal scene. Her neighbors peeked out of their windows in disbelief, whispering as she was ushered into the helicopter. Inside, her heart raced. Was this real life? Minutes later, she found herself stepping into the grand, glass-walled penthouse of Ethan Grant himself. The billionaire stood waiting, not in a suit, but in a simple gray sweater, sleeves rolled up, as though he had been at home when her message arrived. His eyes, sharp yet kind, studied her not with judgment but with quiet concern. "You didn't mean to text me," he said softly, as though he already knew. Maya's throat tightened, and she nodded. But sometimes mistakes lead us where we need to go. Unable to hold back, she told him everything, the hospital bills, her mother's condition, the endless hours she worked, the hopelessness she felt. Her words tumbled out between tears, but Ethan listened without interrupting once. When she finished, he leaned back, his expression unreadable. Then, after a long silence, he said, "You remind me of my mother. She raised me alone, worked until her hands broke, and when she fell sick, I wasn't there soon enough. I promised myself that if I ever had the means, I wouldn't let another son or daughter go through that pain." He pressed a button on his desk phone. "Contact the hospital," he instructed his assistant. "Arrange for the best surgeons and cover every expense." Turning back to Maya, he said, "Your mother will get her surgery. And as for you, you shouldn't have to fight this battle alone. I want you to have the peace of mind my mother never had." Maya sat there, speechless. A billionaire, someone who owed her nothing, someone she hadn't even meant to contact, was rewriting her story in an instant. Gratitude overwhelmed her. When the surgery was scheduled and the arrangements set in motion, Ethan walked her to the helicopter himself. As she stood before him, still stunned, he offered her one last piece of advice. Don't think of this as charity. Think of it as proof. Proof that miracles do happen, sometimes through strangers. Carry that forward. Help the next person who texts you by mistake. Weeks later, Maya's mother made a full recovery. True to his word, Ethan never asked for recognition or thanks. But for Maya, his act of compassion became the defining moment of her life. She returned to her small world, but with a heart expanded, determined to echo the kindness she had received. Because sometimes, the universe doesn't answer our prayers in the ways we expect. Sometimes, it answers with a mistake that turns into a miracle, and a stranger who reminds us that humanity, at its core, is built on compassion. And so, a desperate message sent in error became the bridge between despair and hope. A billionaire's generosity transformed not just a life, but an entire outlook on what it means to believe again.